Hey Super Mario Brother fans, welcome back to another edition of Future Wealth. Today we're going to be looking into Nintendo. We're going to do a deep dive into the stock, what it has going on, and what to expect coming forward with Nintendo. So stay with me on this one. I have here my infamous spreadsheet in regards to the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow formula that I've taken from Warren Buffett's book to depict a stock if it's worth buying, or obviously if it's worth putting your money into it and getting yourself into position in your portfolio. So let's take a quick look at what we have here, and then there's a couple other things that I want to discuss in regards to Nintendo and why potentially this stock may or may not be a good buy right now. I'm going to start off from the bottom here. Is currently we have Nintendo at a sell, and this is based on my intrinsic value, and I've gone through this in a couple other videos prior to this. These blue cells are actually fixed values. So the current bond yield is 3.02, the EPS is 4.23, and this is all from Yahoo Finance. Ticker symbol for that is NTDOY. And you can see here the EPS is 4.23, and this is what I populated the information with. The 5-year projected growth rate is negative 211.5. Now we need to understand why this is, and I am going to go over what I believe this is coming from. If you analyze their current financials and you see what they have going on, you can tell that the gross margin is awesome, but then the 20% above the net margin, that means they're spending some money somewhere that is causing from between the gross margin up until what they get back in hand. It's a little discrepancy there because it looks like they're spending money somewhere. So where are they spending this money? And now, of course, this is just my opinion. I don't know what it is Nintendo is doing exactly. A lot of the information that I'm getting and I'm relaying it here are information that it's public on the internet, and it's just articles that I find. And I can only put one and one together to kind of get a better understanding of where this company is right now as far as the stock position and the things that it's trying to do going forward. Their net income is really, really good. They generate a lot of revenue. Their gross profit is awesome. So this leads us to the gross margin, which is 40. Anything above 40% is good. From the trailing 12 months to 2020 to 2019, it has been awesome. 2018 was a little shy of the 40%, but you can see definitely averages out above 40%, which is good. 20% above is good as well, the net margin, meaning what they get back after all things that they actually do. If you average this out across the board, they're at 19.22, which is not horrible. It's a little below what my expectation would be as far as, the formula that I put together in regards to what Warren Buffett uses to analyze the income statement. Not horrible. So let's go to the balance sheet. And the balance sheet is pretty much anything above 20% is efficient. And we can see here 2020 was one of their peak because, and I probably would say because of the whole people were in lockdown and they had to stay home, so there was definitely a more online presence for a lot of platforms, not just Nintendo but just everything that's streaming, gaming, all that good stuff. Everyone was home and they were just constantly on this all day, every day, right? And that was 2020. 2021 may change that a little bit, and you may see these numbers come back down to the previous years. Here you see 1310, of course 2020 being the height of all of it for Nintendo. Now let's go to the cash flow. The cash flow here, I say less is better. Capital expenditures divided by the net income, and we get a modest percent. And here I actually put anything below, I believe it was anything below 20% is very good. So obviously these are green, and that's how it comes about. Nintendo is also a dividend paying stock where their current dividend yield is 2.63, which is pretty decent. So let's go back to why 2020 and 2019, where is it standing that we may see some issues with debt? Right? Actually, 2018 and 2019, well, these 3 years, why are we looking and seeing that? Why is it below the 20% threshold? Let's bring up some of the news that I found. And of course, I've known about Nintendo's theme park, and their current library of games has been really attractive. I mean, I grew up playing Nintendo throughout my whole elementary school years, all the way up until I had my first kid. I'm actually on my third kid. They're playing Nintendo. whether it's the N64, Nintendo Wii, or the classic Nintendo, but they're on the Switch now. So we've gone through every generation of Nintendo systems. The one thing I wanted to point out is in Japan, they had already opened a Super Nintendo World, which is amazing, okay? They have a Super Nintendo World. Just gonna lower the sound on this and I'll let the video play. This is an amazing place. I mean, this is like hardcore Nintendo. You cannot get any better than this. And the one thing that I think anticipating, why am I looking into the stock all of a sudden? What's triggering Nintendo? I mean, the Switch has been out for a while. There's no new Switch console or Nintendo console coming out anytime soon because they would probably be sitting on the Switch. The Switch did make headlines recently because they may be changing AMD chips to something, obviously that would create a faster experience on the console itself because of the newer chip, which is awesome. That was on the news, but they're not redoing the whole Switch. They're just changing the internals of it. So anyone who's buying the new generation is going to have this experience, and anyone who's left behind would be the ones who bought it first, right? So that's always the case. I don't think there's any software update that would modify that can change any of that. So I'm gonna let this really awesome trailer advertisement for the Nintendo World run. The one thing I wanted to point out on maybe why this stock may be a purchase, because right here in this small little print in the Orlando Times, this is the Orlando Times, Orlando Informer, in this very, very small text, they said that Nintendo World, okay, expect to see both the Nintendo themed land and its home park, Epic Universe, open sometimes in early 2025. The original date was 23, but again, it's been pushed back due to the coronavirus shutting down wide swaths of theme park industries throughout 2020. This is gonna happen in Orlando. So can you imagine that? This is where you thought Disney had this great huge moat, right? And people have been buying Disney for like the longest time. It's been around for the longest time. And then 40 years later, right? Because that's pretty much more or less how old Mario is. They are finally coming out with a theme park in the United States, specifically for Nintendo. It had no association whatsoever to do with Disney. Now, will they ever collaborate? Will someone acquire the other? Possible. But Nintendo in itself is a huge franchise with all the things that they have. Not just Mario, they got Pokemon, they have the Animal Crossing. So there's so many things that Nintendo has to offer that the new generation of kids are into, that they may just go to the Super Mario World opposed to Disney. I mean, my kids, my older and younger kids, they don't know much of Disney, to be honest. Besides, honestly, I don't even know which other Disney characters they know. I mean, I know all of Disney characters as I was growing up because that's all there was back then. You had the Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, and Goofy and all that. They don't get publicized as much as they used to anymore. Now it's a lot of like princess drama, like movies. Mulan, you have, all these like more realistic characters in Disney opposed to the more cartoonish ones. And, growing up in the 80s and 90s, we used to watch like, DuckTales, where it was cartoons, but I don't see those as much anymore on television for my kids to experience. So, but they know Mario, they know the princess, they know all the little characters within, like, because they're all over the Mario Karts and Smash Brothers and all that good stuff, right? So imagine this Super Nintendo World having all the Smash Brother characters, like all the Nintendo characters. I was like, I think there's over like 100 something characters in there. You got the Capcom characters, you got the Pokemon characters. There's a lot of things to offer now. And this is a pretty big article. Details a lot of look at these rides. I mean, like if this was the one thing that was competing with Disney, this would be the one. You live the action of the game, meaning you go there and you can experience the whole game in person, live. You could do all these like cool things. And look at this. This is amazing. Look, like a little Mario hat on a burger. Very awesome. I think they got it down. This is their thing. This is their niche. This is one of the best things that they probably has come up with so far at Universal Studio Japan. And they have these shows. I mean, this is gonna be an awesome way of getting people to go to Florida to visit this. Now, you can't beat this right now. And I think so far. So let me go back to the stock. The stock is it's a sell. I wanted to come back to the beginning. Is the projected 5-year growth rate is negative 211.5. You have to take in consideration now how much money Nintendo took out to build these theme parks, the one in Japan and the one going forward in Orlando. So so whatever they're making, they are going to reinvesting it back into the company, into these theme parks. And on top of that, while they're doing that, they're actually going to be paying back dividends. So they're generating all this income, their revenue from the gaming, the console, and the subscription, like, the online subscription membership. They're taking a lot of that. So you have to anticipate. Remember, you got the 5-year growth rate at negative 211. It's not like they're projecting to lose money going forward. They're anticipating to make more money within the next 4 or 5 years, because once the Orlando, Florida theme park opens, I believe it will be flooded. It will be crowded. It will be tons of people, because people can't wait to get the hell out of the house right now. And 2025 sounds like a sweet number right now, only because everything that we experienced in 2020 will be behind us, and people are just going to go and get out and just explore. And what better way to do it than to go visit a new place that they have never experienced before. Now, if you told me, I've been to Disney a few times. Now, if you told me to go back again, I may be a little skeptical about that. But if you told me to go to Florida and go to the Super Nintendo world, now we're on the different page, and I'll be like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. So let's do it. Guys, I want to thank you. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. I hope you guys appreciate the Excel spreadsheet that I have put together, and some of the details. I can definitely link this so you guys can download it and use it at your own discretion and see if certain stocks are worth purchasing based on the income statements and the balance sheet, and obviously the cash flow. And then I also have on the bottom here is the intrinsic value of it. Now, these are just formulas that I put together that I use to base a stock on. And then of course there's other information that required for me to put together besides just using this one spreadsheet. If everything was that simple, I'll be so well off, right? But you have to do your homework, and you have to analyze what's out there, the information that's provided as far as news, or you just have to go digging. Like going in and doing searches on Google is really easy to do, and all you need to do is spend some time looking for these things, so you could put one and one together and you see that it will be worth your time to invest in these companies. Nintendo is one of them. So would I consider buying some shares of Nintendo? For me personally, even though with this whole spreadsheet, you see the 20% is efficient, and you see everything is in the red, and you see a lot of other items that are in the red. But if you look at the trailing 12 month and you look at their cash flow, and then you look at the projected 2025 headlines on what they plan to do in Orlando, which they already done in Japan, I personally think when this comes out in 2025, Nintendo is gonna blow up. And when I mean blow up, that doesn't mean in a negative way. I mean it's in a positive way, that the stock is gonna go up higher. And of course, that is just my opinion. All right, guys, I want to thank you again. Appreciate you guys being here. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.